he's the worst bird. The flash given the thousands. Casino would become champions. Oh, 67. And then he's the worst bird. The flash given the thousands. Casino would become champions.
Good evening everybody and welcome to Celtic Rumours TV episode number 222, the Bawz and Bovril podcast with myself, Mark. Tonight we're on a wee trip back in time. We've got Mikey with us. How are you doing, Mikey?
Not bad, mate. It's good to be back after, well, it's been a while now.
Aye. What
Been
age
busy,
is that the kids are now?
2 and 1. I think last time I was on, I never had any. Now I'm working on a football team.
I think we mini Mikey's maybe not been long born.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
We've got Jonas with us tonight as well. Evening, Jonas. How are you doing, mate?
Good, lads. Good evening to yourselves.
For anybody that doesn't know, Jonas he's a Dundee United fan, but he's a good Tim, let's put it that way. He likes the same things. He likes the same things we do, apart from the football team, although he's got a soft spot for Celtic. Anyways, I said this is our podcast for our forum at CelticRumoursTV.co.uk. You can find a link to that and everything else in the description box below through our link tree. A few shout outs to some of the lads that are off the forum and that. Paul and Terence. Terence is in the chat. He might pop on later on, I don't know. Jerry McGinnell, Tim Alloy, JFP, I don't know if he's about either. Wee John United Ireland, Big Jabber, Welshie, Deef Kev, Malika, TB for the Discord. Who have we got in the chat? Bobby, evening Bobby. McMulner, nice to see you, mate. Grot Bags, there's Terence here. Cameron Flip Flop, nice to see you too, mate. Liam Doyle, I think I said you. G-Doc, nice to see you in, mate. And you, Patrick McLaughlin, hail, hail. Well, just as we came on, it just got announced that we'd signed somebody in Junior Adamu. Mikey, Jonas, you are quite good for having on at these kind of times because you know all these players that nobody else would even heard. Do you any take on him?
No, like I said, he was well sought after a couple of years ago and he seems to have fell off a wee bit, but I think he'll actually do decent at Celtic, if I'm being honest. He's quite quick in that, so.
We said this just before we came on there. I mean, and it's come back to even what Rodgers went on about. It was, we need to get pace into the team and that, but it does seem to be as if that's what even Martin O'Neill seems to be looking at, doesn't it?
Well, he can't do nothing against pace, eh? Like, people overcomplicate football, eh? Like I say, Celtic been screaming out for, like he says, the squad just needs like fresh faces. It's just it's been screaming out for a week. It shouldn't have went down to the last day of the window again, but like nothing really surprises me now with this board.
No, I mean the last window that killed it for me, Mikey, because I was always, I always try to keep a bit of positive on it, and I thought like in the last day of the August window we would pull in a few at the hat, and it never happened. And even this window, it's like half that stuff you're reading at Twitter's all what a shite. Celtic are preparing a bid for this and that. That's all nonsense, do you know what I mean? That's just people looking for interactions and likes and that on social media and their clicks onto their fucking newspaper pages and that. But I mean, we've ripped up the full recruitment thing for Tisdale and Nancy left, but I mean, surely even Martin and you'll still get contacts and Sean Malone get contacts that they can pull in. Do you know what I mean? No, I'm not meaning favours, but Stephen McGonigal, nice to see you, mate. See you there, bud. But I mean, it's like Rodgers. We got to the scrub at the scrub end of the window last time. We was to pull out Biggie and Acho. Do you know what I mean?
But that's what I mean. We needed to wait on Sevilla releasing him to then sign him because of the whole Casper Dolberg thing.
Aye.
Like, I just don't like see with like the boy Adamu and the boy that's coming in Mvuka. Like these were meant to be confirmed 2 or 3 days ago. So why is it taking to like the last? Like why does Celtic announce is this to make it look like they're doing more than what they actually are by announcing it like an hour to go in the transfer window? These were all confirmed 2-3 days ago. So
that's how I've gone with Mikey. Paperwork, because it's for Brexit. It's been a bugger. You might as well be trying to sign players for Africa. I don't mean that in a racist way, by the way, but mind it used to be if you were in Europe, you just jumped across to Scotland and that was you because we were part of that European community. But for Brexit now, it's all work permits and everything for anybody coming in here. And that
to be fair, even like it says when me and Jonas were in Italy on Thursday, going into Milan, like through customs, it was an absolute nightmare. Like, honestly, it took over an hour to near enough get through customs, like with the passports and what colour of passport you got now. Ever since this Brexit, used to just through and that was it, but now it takes absolutely ages to get through.
You could get an Irish passport, Mikey, because you're grander.
Oh, I mean, I might need to dabble in that.
I heard Mikey was on the rampage here in Italy, Jonas, trying to start fights in that.
Nah, I mean, like I say, we're getting to the point where we'd have chewed the end off a table, so it was more a rampage to try and get some food, because trying to find a pizza place that's open, because they've got some weird regulations where they close between 4 and 3.5. Sorry, there you go, 4 and 7. You're like, well, that's prime tea time, Ken. What you meant to hate a scran? You know what I mean? So the Hunger Games and anything else.
Mikey was saying that the Poles were a bit.
Like
just abandoned you kind of thing.
The whole Bologna trip was an absolute, like he says, the Celtic SLO, like he says, released a statement that there was meant to be a meeting point for the fans to march for the area to the ground for safety, and then so the other fans were marching to the ground. There was police presence to start with. Then all of a sudden they just dispersed, and then all of a sudden you were in the hooligan end of Bologna. And then as soon as it all kicked off, then the police seemed to make an appearance. It was just it's just an absolute, and you got all the Celtic supporters lined up like on we've like committed millions of crimes and whatnot. When it wasn't even the case, you were just led up the garden path, basically. It was obvious, like you say, as I said to you, Mark, like a couple of days ago, like when me and Jonas and my mate Chris was there as well. We went a bit early just to try and source it out and just see what entrances was going on in that. In the pub that we walked past, it was obvious that there was going to be bother. Jonas will tell you yourself, like he says, these are just your normal, like, young laddies or that, Jonas?
Nah, guys in the probably mid-40s, 50s and stuff like that, Ken, so the sort of ultra scene, so you kind of had a bit about them, like,
Like my age group, I would have been there for donkey's years doing the same thing, sitting in that same pub every match day for years.
Aye.
Yeah.
But no, if you go into me about the 2 years I've said I will get you for an Atlanta game and that, I would maybe do that, but I don't think I would maybe go to a Celtic game or in Italy. See, especially with the crutches that if anything did go after, you know what I mean? I'm stranded kind of thing.
Yeah, like the difference between Atalanta versus Bilbao on the Wednesday to Celtic against Bologna, like just everything, like what being a Champions League to the Europa League, like the difference in quality, everything. It was just day and night. Jonas will tell you yourself.
Well, like I said, and just to go back to what you were saying there as well about the whole Brexit thing, I can sympathise with you on that one, Mark. Like you say, Ken, when you're on about the paperwork for transfers is taking longer because you hate to jump through that many hoops now, do you? You know what I mean? So, like I say, deals are agreed, but then it takes 3 and 4 days later for all the paperwork to get ratified. But just going back to the whole experience, like I'm quite a I like the sort of old antiquities and things like that. And Bologna Stadium I didn't mind that. It was old and needing a wee bit of work, but I didn't mind that. But like the surrounding areas and things, there was definitely a bit of an uneasy atmosphere. Whereas Atlanta, you were just sort of walking about carefree kind of thing. You know what I mean? Whereas you had to have your wits about you a wee bit more in the second one, like.
I see, this way Engels just when Bobby's saying about it, he won't be going now. With the window being shut in at 7, but there's still a couple of hours grace here, mate. Bobby, see if they get that. They've got the deal agreed and that. They've got a couple of hours grace to get the paperwork registered.
Well,
I
they've got a
don't
deal
think
sheet,
Forest
like,
will come
they've got a
come
deal
back
sheet,
in
like,
with more
yeah.
money. That'll be it done now, like, because that's 3 bids they've knocked back. They're not going to go and up it again. I wouldn't have thought.
Like I said, I just don't understand why clubs leave it to this point of the window to get deals done, because it's not like this has been something that's like progressed during the day because they've needed to sell somebody, and then somebody like they've known they've needed a centre mid since like the start of January. So the fact that they've like they can go on a bit of Douglas Luiz and that left, and he's went back to Aston Villa, but Douglas Luiz wasn't even getting a game for Nottingham Forest.
But I mean, you're sitting with one hand, Mikey. I mean, even though like reading through the forum and that, it's like, I mean, there's people out there that have said Engels has been a waste of money for the day he came in, right? They've been moaning about him, but we should get rid of him. And then the day it's an attack on the board if they sell him. They can't sell him this late in the table. I mean, I was talking about before to make a floor come on. I like Engels. I think there's a player in there. Has he been the best player for Celtic over the last couple of years? No. If he came in, he's no hit the heights that we expect him. He's a good player. Was he worth 11 million? Well, if we're getting offered £25 million from the new, well, obviously he's been worth 11 million. Do you know what I mean? You can't say that he's not been.
Yeah, and that's what, like I says, and people on the forum and that, and they take umbrage to like you're not in this day and age. Is it you want to say as well? You can't say anything negative. Like in 2026, you say anything negative, then all hell breaks loose. Like Engels has nowhere been near Celtic's best players. Well, to be fair, there's not been that many of them in the last 18 months. He's been there for 18 months. Did I want to sell Engels? No. But as I said to you, Mark, every player's got their price. Every player. And like it says, and I put on the forum earlier, what would be the jumping off point for people to sell them if it was they were in charge? And I said 20 mil. So the fact that you got offered 25, I'd have bit your hand off. People can say, well, you need to have somebody ready to come in. Celtic are that daft to know that there wouldn't have been offers coming in for the kind of player, so they should have had a plan B anyway. But again, it's Celtic we're talking about.
But even again, Mikey, but then again, if it's left to the last day of the window, and Nottingham Forest have come in for Engels, do you know what I mean? We know what Celtic's like. They're no way that they're going to even have I mean, realistically, Mikey, in the last day of the window, most clubs, if they're selling anybody, we should have somebody in place and all that. If they're selling somebody, they've not got anybody in place to come in. If Engels had left Celtic today, we'd be scrambling about, I think. But I think I'm not just meaning that as a dig at the Celtic. I think if any team's losing any of their top players the day that they're no expected to be losing, they're going to be in the same kind of situation and have to maybe throw money or extra money to get a replacement in.
That's the thing. Like, it's different, is it? Like you say, I mean, like you are saying there, right? Yeah, has he been a standout? No, but since Martin, he's played his best football this season when Martin O'Neill's been there, okay? And he seems to work in his system. So unless you had someone of equal or better quality lined up with a couple of hours to go, then you wouldn't go and sell him, would you? You know what I mean? Unless, like I say, there was astronomical money getting bandied about.
But then that's something, like, it's getting back to this again. Like, people were listing off players for Scotland that have moved to Scotland that Celtic have never went in for, and they've kind of just like left Scotland without, like, so you got players like, obviously we can go back to John McGinn, and then you've got boys like Lewis Ferguson and Josh Doig and
it's snobbery.
That have like obviously left. It's snobbery, and then like he says, I love a debate. Like he says, there's none better than football. Everybody's got different opinions, and that's all right. But the last 24 hours, like he says on that forum, just a simple post that I put up about if Engels was to go, I'd accept like 20 odd million, and then I'd sign Josh Mulligan for Hibs. And then there's a couple of them that came at me in the forum and were like, oh well, there's no players in Scotland that are good enough to play for Celtic. Like, there's nobody that they would sign for any club in Scotland. It's like, you would sign Mulligan for Hibs, you'd sign Masfinisse for Motherwell, you'd sign Watson for Kilmarnock. But that's what I mean. See if they were like a fancy Brazilian, Argentinian, or Italian name or something, like for Juventus or something, they'd be foaming at the mouth trying to get them in. But because they're based in Scotland and there's this snobbery that comes with like Josh Mulligan is Jonas Kins as well, because he's been United obviously with the rivalry with Dundee. He was as good as McCowan, if no better than McCowan at Dundee. And McCowan's playing at Celtic, and McCowan's did alright at Celtic. He's never set the world on but Mulligan's a better player than him. Maswinisi at Motherwell should have already been signed. Like the talk was 2.5 to 3.5 million Motherwell wanting for him, so that was a no-brainer. But they're negotiating 6.5 million for a Frosinone Serie B player. And then the boy Watson, I think Kilmarnock, he's on a pre-contract, is he? I think he's out of contract at the end of the season with Kilmarnock.
Aye.
He's a no-brainer signing as well.
And as we spoke about, but see, like that, Mike, as we spoke about before, right? It's like just because people saying, "Oh, they're not good enough to play for Celtic," and that. But for me, there's players that they're good enough to play for Celtic in Scotland, right? Maybe right, you're not going to sign guys for Hibs and expect them to turn up next season in the Champions League against Real Madrid and things like that. Do you know what I mean?
But Mark, see Josh Mulligan and people.
But but they'll get better. Younger players, they'll get better at Celtic, and hopefully they'll end up players that can either get sold for money or give a good turn against these bigger European teams.
With the way our midfield has played this season, again, even at Falkirk, if anybody watched the game, our midfield was non-existent. Every one of them.
Aye.
I can guarantee you, Josh Mulligan signed for Hibs would walk into the Celtic midfield right now for any of them, based on performances this season.
Tati's an empty jersey. And I mean, Nygren pitches in with goals and that, and things, but for me, see when they're playing with like a midfield three, Nygren can't play in that thing with. It reminds me of Rogic too much. He's not in the game much, but he'll pop up with goals and stuff like that. But I think playing like, see if we can, I have to keep getting back to it, see if we went with a 4-2-3-1 with Engels and Cal McGregor and the 2 and Nygren in the 10 role, I think that would be a lot better for Celtic. I really do.
Yeah, I think McGregor, he says, I'm at the point with McGregor. Because this was all, like he says, I'm not going to start saying names on the forum, because like he says, I'm not going to, like he says, that's their opinion and whatnot. But that was another thing as well, because I was going on about Engels against Hearts and that. Like, I'd never seen Engels actually pass it to another Celtic player the last couple of games, especially against Utrecht as well. And they were like, oh, well, Callum McGregor's been like that all season. But my post was a bit coming in for Engels. And I wasn't even on about Callum McGregor.
On you go.
And that's what I put on the forum, Mark. That's what I put on the forum. It was like, when there was rumours of McGregor going to Saudi, I even said it to you back then, and I even said it on the forum. I just tell him and again, bite your hand off to get rid of him because he's finished it.
Aye.
So it's like Celtic supporters just now will just find an argument in anything to just fit the narrative. And I was talking about selling Engels for decent money because he's not really set. He's decent, but if you get decent money for him, you would take it. Then it was, oh, well, McGregor's thinking. Well, we weren't even talking about that, know what I mean? So it's just like the atmosphere in between a lot of Celtic supporters just now. Like I say, which was strange too, because across in Italy, there wasn't really much, like he says, negativity at all between the fans that travelled. Like, everybody seemed to be in decent spirits considering what's going on. But within like terms of forums and whatnot, where people can hide behind the keyboard and that, it's easier to be more toxic, is it?
I think though, that like, see, forums and especially like social media, like Twitter and that, right? That echo chamber is always one of those places where I feel like the negative demographic always seem louder than the people that have actually got sense. You know what I mean? Like, you look at the boys that are like, it doesn't matter what happens, and I'll go for the same for you, and like the same as us boys as well. You go and win a game, and then there's people moaning about, but it was a hard watch, or we won, but it wasn't this. And I've always been of the opinion, see, as long as you win a game of football, I don't care how it happens. I'd watch football terrorism every single week for the rest of my life if it meant that my team won more games than it lost. You know what I mean?
Aye.
So I'm sick of this, like, you know what I mean? Oh, well, like, and our support's not any different. Kind of, oh, well, we won today. We won 2-9 against, but it could have been 4. Well, it wasn't, and we won the game. So what are you moaning about? You know what I mean? And I understand there's got to be certain, you expect a certain level of performance, but I just think that the echo chamber, especially on forums and social media, the negative people are always louder than the people that actually talk sense.
That's just the way the world now, really, honest, but it really is. I mean, across the board, no matter whether it's politics, football, no matter what.
Oh, aye.
I genuinely believe that there can't be one Celtic supporter, and they can tell me in the chat if I'm wrong here, that wouldn't have sold Engels for 25 million. There's absolutely no chance that anybody in that chat can say, nah, didn't sell him. No chance. Like,
I would say, as I said earlier, you've got to take that kind of money, but no, at this point in the window, Mikey, do you know what I mean? If it had been earlier on and we knew that we could trust the board to reinvest the money in the team.
This is the Celtic board all over. Like it says, there should have been somebody already like to come in. Like it says, this wouldn't have just, as I said earlier, it came down to the last minute and I can't believe clubs did it. There's absolutely no chance that Celtic never knew that there was going to be bids coming in for him on thing, and they should have already had players lined up. Because to get 25 million for Engels based on performances since he's been at Celtic, they should have bit their hand off and had a replacement ready to go. But that's Celtic board all over. There's no plan. There's no plan A. There's no plan A. Never mind a plan B.
So right, Mikey. So you're a professional football player, right? And it's got the transfer window, blah blah blah. And your agent says, "Oh, right, so and so's interested. So and so's interested. Celtic might be interested if they sell Engels." You're not sitting here waiting. All right, well, I'll just sit here and wait to see if Celtic sell Engels and then go to them. See, that's you've got. I mean, people say, "Oh, there should have been somebody lined up," and that, but that's sorry, but you can't. Celtic couldn't have sat there. What if Michael Nicholson comes out and says, that was a bastard that window. I spent 2 weeks negotiating my midfielder in case Aaron Engels went away, and he didn't.
That's what we need that many. Like the amount of players we needed in January, Mark. Like we could already get midfielders in, and then if bids came in for players, then we could have went, we can let him go. Because we've already got in the players that we need for the rest of the season.
There's got to be the balance of the squad as well. Do you know what I mean? That's what you've got to think when it comes to. It's not just a case of we should go and buy players. I'm not meaning this to dig at you, Mike. I'm talking about supporters in general. And then, again, we went out and signed somebody, say £3 or £4 million in the case Engels left, but Engels didn't leave. So now that's us. We've got even more of a stockpile of midfielders. Do you know what I mean? All looking for game time, all looking to play.
Yeah. Like that, we're getting the money that we got from Matt O'Reilly for Engels, and Engels has been half. People say different positions, and he's been half the player of Matt O'Reilly. Yeah, so that's like it says. That's I'm just talking about like business. Like, in my opinion, like borderline stupid money because of that league in there.
But see, here's one. See even at that. See if the likes of Bernardo had stepped up to the plate. Even down to wee Luke McCowan or that. Do you know what I mean? See, even if Bernardo had been stepping up and showing what he could do, see, even if Engels did left today, you'd be like, and we're right, and we're in the turmoil we were in it as such, the way you want to paint it. If Bernardo stepped up to be a player a lot of people thought he was going to be, he'd have been like that, Engels, 25 million, take him, and just have Bernardo in the team.
I don't know what's happened to him.
Like
that was shocker, like because I actually was all for Celtic signing him and that because I thought he was a really good player.
Aye, and he'd done well for us when he was on loan. But then was it meant to be we were spending $6 million on him, and then all of a sudden we only had to pay 2 or 3 or something, wasn't it? So maybe I don't know if there was maybe something to do with his fitness or I don't know, but he fell right off a cliff if he came back for that Euros with Portugal.
Yeah, well, he says it'll be interesting to see how it materialises in the next few hours. Like I say, because with that and Vuku and Adamu coming in, I'm still, like you say to you, Mark, I'm still expecting at least another 2 coming in.
Aye.
So
2 or 3.
They've got to a centre back coming in. There's got to be. Like we've been here before, like on the end of the last one, and everybody's like, "There's got to be," but surely Martin O'Neill was not going to come in knowing fine well that. Like signing 2 wingers or a forwards isn't going to cut the mustard here. Like, they're desperate for a centre back.
Aye. Especially with Carter Vickers isn't going to kick another ball this season. Hopefully he'll be away. So I mean, it's an ideal time to start searching for like Carter Vickers' replacement. Instead of, I mean, there was like I'm telling you, it was garbage all this Sergio Ramos push for 6 month loan. But surely we should be looking at somebody and saying, like a loan even with an option to buy a younger guy. Do you know what I mean? Somebody to come in and see if he can replace Carter Vickers in the summer.
If Sergio Ramos came in, I think I'd hit a stroke in excitement. He's one of my favourite centre halves at a time, so I knew you'd heard of that and so it's just as well I never got wind of that earlier.
I was talking, I went, guys in the chat will know I'd caught something on Twitter about it earlier on. I was talking, can't see it right enough, do you know what I mean?
He'll be on mental money in that. Is he in Mexico?
Nah, he's a free agent.
Is he a free agent now, is he?
Yeah, mate, he's been a free agent for about since the middle of December or something. But there was just before I come on, I was looking online and there's a link via a centre half for Brentford. But I don't know if he's not played a lot of football, 20-year-old or something. But he looks.
See, no. See, this is what's going to happen, Mark. Is it? It's going to be some English Premier League youth player like that.
But that was what the plan. That was what the actual thing is. Are we looking for somebody who's got to come in and actually play games, or are we just looking for somebody who's got to come in and replace Pussy Simpson or Simpson Pussy, whatever it was, in Welsh? Because Welsh get brought back to replace him and just in the squad to make up numbers.
Well, I thought when they brought back Welsh, that was their leverage for Maswinita. That's all I thought that was. I thought we'll bring him back and then he'll just be a wait, as part of the deal for getting him. I thought that was a stick on for that to happen.
Well, it was meant to be Aberdeen were wanting to buy him. And then we played them, so that was that out the window. So realistically, Welsh is either going to sit at Celtic for the rest of this season and he needs to get back in Motherwell. But it was meant to be that Welsh wasn't willing to take to lose the money. See the money that it would take going to Motherwell full time compared to Celtic, because what's it, has he got 18 months left in his contract or something, Welsh? And he wasn't willing to take the drat in wages unless there was maybe a payout off of Celtic or something to square things up, which lads quite entitled today, you know what I mean? You sign a contract, you're away buying a house that you can afford because you're on that contract, you're buying a motor because you can afford that, do you know what I mean? So going from Celtic to Motherwell maybe be too big a drop in wages for him to even contemplate without being subsidised off of Celtic.
And at the end of the day, you're right, Mark, because it's a job. Ken,
Aye.
It'd be like if a different workplace come in for me, and then he says, right, Jonas, we're expecting you to come in here and do the same job, but we're going to pay you 20% less than what you're getting paid now. I'd be like, well, that's not happening.
Aye, because your bills are the same and your wages are dratting off, do you know what I mean?
So you would want your wages either matched or better to leave your current job. So football is no any different. And I'm not saying that Welsh isn't good enough to play at a club as big as Celtic, right? Everybody kens that. But like I say, if he ends up going to an Aberdeen, a Hibs or something like that, then they'll realistically be able to give him more money than what he would be getting at Motherwell. And like I say, the boy's got bills, mortgages, I don't know if he's got bairns, whatever his circumstances are. So he's got to look at that financially and think, you know what, I need to be paid a certain amount of money to afford what I'm currently paying, Ken. So it's not any different, eh?
Aye. I mean, imagine getting home to your wife and saying, if I'm going to Motherwell now, all right, I'll be playing every week, but I'm only getting $2,000 a week compared to 6 grand a week at Celtic. What do you think his wife's got to say? Aye, that'll be right.
I said that to you the other day, did I? If I was Welsh, just say I was sitting on $8,000 a week at Celtic and I had 18 months, and they wanted to sell me to Motherwell, and Motherwell were offering me 4. I'd be all right, I'll go to Motherwell, but see, for that 18 months, you're paying me up with the wages, and I'll go to Motherwell, no bother. And then whilst I'm at Motherwell, I'm getting my $8,000 because Celtic have subsidised it. Otherwise, I was sitting on my hoop for 18 months, getting the wages that on the contract that I got. Because Welsh doesn't owe Celtic anything.
No, they don't. I mean, we've got to look at that. Do you know what I mean? That for these young players, I mean, it's even getting back to stuff on the forum. It's as it's as if Stephen Welsh is just like a piece of meat. Do you know what I mean? Like offer Motherwell $3 million Guillaume Welsh, as if he's just throw him in. Do you know what I mean? You've got to think that what we're talking about. This is a guy with a life that we don't know anything about.
Well, come on, I seen an interview with Scott Bain earlier this season when they were talking to him, and basically he was asked why he sat at Celtic so long, and he turned around and says, yeah, because I've got a wee boy now and the finances were too good to turn down, so okay, I was third choice and I wasn't playing, but I couldn't afford to leave to go and play at like a Falkirk at the time because I just had a bairn, so I wanted to build up a wee bit of capital You know what I mean? So it's no any different to Welsh's situation.
No.
You didn't ken what his is like, but it could be similar to Scott Baines. You didn't ken what the guy's personal life's like. And like I say, he's not just a bit of meat that just gets passed about. People forget that. People just think football players are just expendable. You know what I mean? There's still guys with lives and families and all this kind of stuff.
Well,
I don't know what JFP's doing there. He's got himself in mute. I hope he's not sitting there ranting away and he's got himself in mute so he can...
No, just sitting.
Oh.
How you doing?
All right.
Aye, you're good, John. How are you?
Aye, living the dream.
Aye. That should cheer everybody up. What's your take on how it's happening, John?
Just kind of. I think is that obviously Mikey and Junice that's on there too. Just kind of. I think the majority of what I caught there I would agree. You know, if Celtic was a fully functioning football club, you'd be able to do what Bodo Glimt did and say, aye, you can take our top scorer that qualified us for the Champions League, but it's 10 million. But you're no. So the only question for me to ask this morning was I don't care how much money you've got in the bank, because you're in danger of losing the league here with 100 million in the bank if you sell Angles there. So I don't really care what the number is. The only question, I'm not interested in what Celtic's got in the bank. I was in yesterday. The only thing I want to see is the best Celtic team on the park. The only question for me was, does selling Engels improve or reduce my chances of winning the league this year? And given the World Cup's coming, you've got a German team to play as well. And if you could trust the incompetents that are in charge here to replace him, if that person was in the building, or they could go and replace him, but you know that they're going to sell him. You sell Engels tonight there. One, you undermine the manager again. The same as Roger said, I don't know if he sold. Martin O'Neill said last time the same thing, unless it's 100 million. You know what I mean? There's a figure, but I tell you one thing, for me, 25 million's no that. The atmosphere at that game yesterday was that wasn't 250 in the Green Brigade that was standing up singing the Celtic board they have to go. That was that was a vast majority of that stadium. Including many in the main stand that were actually having to turn around to look at them. So it's a shit show of a window again. Don't care really what the figure is. Not really interested. They can't replace them. Does that make you weaker? Yes, it makes you weaker. Don't really understand the Engels haters. I left being in for a pint and the way back home. And the last thing I said to the lads before I left, I says, I think Engels is a fantastic player. I think he'll going to be an absolute to be a tremendous player. I'm not sure we figured out what to do with him. Has he lived up to reputation? I've got to be told for possibly not, but he's still a class act. He's a penalty taker, he's your best corner taker, he's a presence in the middle of a pink. I think he'd play a blinder if you play him against Stuttgart. Your midfield is possibly as weak as I've seen it. For years, you've been bullied every time you play Hearts, bullied every time you play the Huns for the last couple of seasons. So you get another 25 million in the bank. And what? Are they going to reinvest that in the team? No. Are they going to reinvest it in... Are we going to say, right, that'll go towards we'll have a share issue as well, and we'll have a bank loan, and that'll go towards redeveloping the main stand? No. It looks to me with the recruitment where we are just now, we've went for list A that Martin O'Neill talked about. List A probably needs the mustachioed ones nowadays. So it looks to me as if we're possibly on list C. There are some of the other things the boys were talking about. I'd have took 15 million at the beginning and said Was Bowie worth 5-6 million? No, he wasn't. But was he better than what you've got? He was. I'd have went to Hibs and said, right, what do you want for Bowie and Josh Mulligan? And I'd have went to Morrow and said, what do you want for their man as well? See where I was going. Didn't Kilmarnock get Watson as well? See if that was going to cost you $1 million. There you go, take it. But so can we sell? Does selling Engels make us reduce or increase the likelihood that they will bring players in to replace him? That our chances of winning the league here is going to be.
But we're not selling them, are we? But we're not selling them.
No, but I'm talking about the fact that even the debate is there.
Aye.
I'd like to think the fact that I think Martin O'Neill's a big part of that reason he's not been sold.
I mean, I think Engels is a natural successor in the team to McGregor. See the next manager that comes in the summer. For me, it's time for a clean sweep. So the summer McGregor should be gone. And see, if I was there now, I would be saying, I'd be trying to get Engels to extend his contract with Celtic and say to him, see this time, see next summer, we'll be building a midfielder behind. We'll be building a midfielder in you.
Absolutely, you get comments on here the night. I'd take 25 million all day long, and do what with it? But construct another heated driveway for somebody else on the board, It's and do what? I don't really. I'm not interested. I only want to see the best Celtic team that I can see on the park, and taking Engels with it every day of the week. So see Celtic supporters are going to take the money and run, and what? And do what with it? I think the right decision's been made. I hope he's not sold. It's saying I think it's been a shit show of a window once again. No surprises there.
I don't know. What didn't help was the fact that, like I say, to be fair, he had to rip up that clown that got punted, that doofus at Tisdale. So, I mean, his signings were just.
Michael, who appointed the clown? Who appointed the clown?
Aye, the board.
The only fight I ever had at Parkhead was a guy, he was always in Peter Grant's case. Peter Grant did they pick his cell, He's Nancy, the man's still sitting there in the big surf seat with him and his buddies with their daft matching ties there that said, and the mustachioed one in Ireland that said that Nancy was their long-term, he was the outstanding candidate and their long-term target. Aye, is that right? They should. Why they're still sitting there in these seats if that is the case? So it was a clown. It was madness. But I mean, the guy 2 or 3 years ago, the guy was running women's football. Whoever thought he had the capability or the CV, anything on his CV remotely that made him capable of being a candidate for being a manager of Celtic's fucking lost on me. So don't blame Nancy for his lack of capability. He's blame the guys that put him in a position.
Mm-hmm. But the guy who put him in a position, right? But the actual guy that put him in a position, John, was Tisdale. But Desmond put him in. I don't know why Desmond fell. Was it a golf or was it a wedding that he's meant to have met Tisdale?
A wedding, apparently.
And he's hitting me all this bullshit stuff, and I can't mind. I saw an interview with somebody on, I think it was a video on Twitter, and they said that they'd came across him a bit before and said it was like a kind of this formula that he's got to revolutionise football with and all that passion. Boy basically just said it was a lot of shite. But Desmond, it seems to have fell for this and put him in charge of Celtic's football, like full football department, and put trust in him.
Well, see as an outsider, right, looking in, right, I looked at him just like, forget all that, like you say, Mark, there, like he wrote this book about this philosophy or something, just basically bullshit baffles brains, garbage, right? So that was pish anyway. And then you looked at him as a manager, punted for like teams like Exeter City, and all of a sudden he's in like a high up role at Celtic, and you're just like, it's just jobs for the boys. You're like, right, how's, like, he's obviously hoodwinked someone and talked a good game. Come on, what I mean?
The monorail guy out the Simpsons.
Aye.
That's the kind of, that's what I said that to somebody before. That's what I think it's like. But I mean, you think that, I mean, did you? Well, you maybe not seen it. There was a clip on the Celtic TV yesterday afternoon, Jonas, so maybe you didn't see it, but it was Martin O'Neill, and he was talking about it was Alex Ferguson that phoned him up to ask if he was interested in the Celtic job. Because he knew Alex Ferguson says, I know Dermot Desmond, and he's been asking for my advice in that. So why the fuck is Dermot Desmond went for asking guys like Alex Ferguson's advice to listen to some crackpot that he met at a wedding?
Because the problem is, like you say, is what he's probably done is he's wooed him with this new gen philosophical garbage. Because the problem nowadays is directors of footballs and managers and all that. They've all got this self-appointed god complex where they've dreamt up some philosophy. See, football's never been difficult. It's been your goalkeeper plays it into your midfield, who gets out to your wingers, who put the ball in the box for your striker, and that's how you score goals, eh? You know what I mean?
100%, right. And if Anil done when he come back, he simplified it. Defenders defend, midfield get your ball to the wingers. Wingers get to the byline, cut it back. The mass majority of goals are scored for balls getting cut back for the byline. The big Tam the check. What a great idea that one was bringing somebody in that could maybe bury some of your chances.
Well, there you go. Yesterday, your goals come from across into the box. And then this striker that you've signed today is a typical Martin O'Neill, a big man. We have a nippy guy off him. Come on, I mean, so the idea is probably going to be that this boy's going to, the big boy is going to win the flick-ons for this guy that's going to run in behind. You know what I mean? It's no revolution.
Jonas, 100%. Some of the shite you've heard over the last wee while, they were saying you can't go and buy a striker because the next manager might not like him. Depends on what system. What a pish. Go and buy a big one and a wee one, eh? And it's
I know. It's no hard, eh?
It's not fucking rocket science.
Good manager doesn't want a striker that scores 20-25 goals a season.
Absolutely.
No matter whether he's his style for players, no, but right away you walk in, you come into a club, you know, right, I've got a player there that will score me 25 goals a season. He's no me, but he'll do me for this season to twiddle the team, get it right the way I want. What manager doesn't want a big tough cunt in the midfield winning balls and spraying passes about, and a big hairy arse centre back that clears the ball, no matter if he takes a boot to the face, or do you know what I mean? What manager doesn't want these type of players?
I see the big Tam the check. He's 6'4", isn't he? And apparently that young laddie they're looking for Brentford at the back, 6'4". Anil's philosophy's no changed much. He's I'll tell you, if there's anybody can anybody that can manage us to win this league and get us over the line here, it's if anybody can achieve that, it's Martin O'Neill.
I still think we'll win the league. I'm 100% confident that we'll win the league.
The thing is, I think the thing is,
because Martin O'Neill came back, John. That's why.
Aye. The thing is, as well, though, you look at like the way the deals have been structured with these guys, right? It's be an option to buy, so it's good because it means that you're no committed. There's no an obligation to buy. So if the guy comes and he does the work, then he's no triggering a 3-year deal at the end of the. If these boys come in and do the job and score a few goals between the end of the season, get you over the line, then whether or not they're going to be your first choices next year, you might decide to bring in better, but you're going to have a couple of them as squad players. So at least the deals are structured in a way where you're no lumbered with them if they aren't good enough, Ken.
100%. I wouldn't take, unless I was desperate, I wouldn't take some of the loans that you've taken are. There's no option to buy, but I certainly would never enter an obligation to buy. And the option to buy is great. Is obviously the optimum where you get a chance to watch somebody for a period of time and then make your decision. So that's one area where I would agree. I would agree with how they're approaching it, John and say. But
the boy Araujo looks like a good player, and that's the problem, that you don't have the option to buy him. But he looks like he actually looks like a really good player, and he's one that you probably wouldn't have mind hearing that option. You know what I mean?
I'm just concerned that a couple of the options of the boy that Anil effectively said we had signed last week is no longer on the equation in the frame. And why is this? If we had to drop down,
John, it came out the night that I'm not going to try and pronounce it. That the guy for Serie B, the winger, that he turned us down. It was nothing.
Illness, yeah.
Nothing. Aye, it was him. But that's what's come out tonight, just before we came on air there.
So I'll be cut a long story short. I'll be delighted if that's the case. Well, that's the English one they shut now, isn't it?
Aye, 7 o'clock. Aye.
So I'll be delighted if he's if that's the case that Engels is still at the club, because that to me just improves your chance. You just, when I look at this, I say the Celtic midfield is we do now. You're crying out for a central defensive midfielder for me. You're just. I'd love to have seen somebody playing. I'd love to see, like you mentioned 4-2-3-1 there. I'd love to have seen somebody sitting a bit deeper. I mean, McGregor had a good game yesterday. Right? One of the better games he's had the last wee while. But I'd love to have seen somebody sitting a bit deeper as a 6 and letting potentially McGregor playing up the park and changing it 4-2-3-1 would maybe let you play, because Nygren, he gives you no defensive cover, but he's your fucking tab score. There's a guy said to me yesterday, all he's done is 18 goals and assists. I said, is that all? Fuck. Do you know, it's you can't take Nygren out of that team, but he doesn't give the defensive cover, and you're not sure he works in the midfield. So playing the way they're playing, so I don't know if 4-2-3-1, maybe a 4-4-2 even would let you bring another midfielder in, because as I say, you've been bullied time and time again here, half of Hearts and half of Rangers. And even Falkirk had their chances yesterday,
Well, see what you said there, mate. Spot on, right? Because kind of when you went like that, the boy beside you says the game, he says all he's done is got 18 goals or 21 goals and assists, and you're thinking to yourself, he might drift in and out of games, but what he's got a great knack. His Ivy's in the right place.
100%.
You know what I mean? He's got that knack of being in the right place at the right time. And okay, sometimes he misses a couple of chances, but like he's an instinct player. He's one of them. He's got loads of time to think about a chance. But see, when it comes to him naturally, he scores 9 times out of 10, You know what I mean?
I heard somebody saying the day, I thought it was a good line. It says, Maida's more athlete than he is a football player, and Nygren's more a football player than he is an athlete.
If you had Maeda's like speed in that combined with Nygren's brain, the boy would be the Ballon d'Or contender probably.
He's if you can't leave Nygren out of that team. I just don't. Some of the criticism he's getting as well. His goals and his assists speaks for itself, and that was an absolute peach yesterday. He scores an absolute peach. So I'd just like to know about if Martin O'Neill hadn't been at the club, would Engels have been sold? No,
I don't think so.
You reckon no?
Nah. Some of the stories are that Engels didn't even fancy the move to Nottingham Forest. I mean, are they no relegation fodder?
Daily Record's got I know that you would read in there, but I see they've got a wee article there saying you could read into this. I hope he comes out and refutes this right enough, saying apparently Nygren, so apparently Engels no happy with being allowed to, but that's the kind of shite you'd expect him to come out with. Let's say,
just anything negative.
Absolutely,
I'd love to ken who spoke to him. Like, to see when you read it, it's just a puff piece for people to click on. I would love to ken who for the Daily Records heard it through the horse's mouth. I love when people come out with that kind of nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, you honestly see, like on Twitter, right? It's like that Anthony Joseph and all that kind of thing. You can't tell me that agents, anybody to do with any transfer deal in the world, are phoning him every 5 minutes to give him updates on stuff.
I know. And the thing is, right?
It's made up garbage, and people fall for it. One day after one day.
Come what it is, lads. It's just throw enough mud at the wand, something will stick. I started a rumour the day in one of my group chats that's just to wind boys up and saying that we were in advanced talks for Ryan Kent. And you want to see the place about imploding. You know what I mean? And I'm just sitting there laughing. Like, I could create a Twitter account, right, and call myself like African Sports News or something, right? With a blue tick beside me and start rattling these, and I'd hit 10,000 shares, and people would be like, "Oh, this boy's close to a deal." Half it, it's just like you say, Mark. It's just clickbait garbage, so that people can sell newspapers or They see how much traffic passes through their server when they put that push out, Ken.
But the thing about it is that people believe it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, see, back years ago when I was younger and that, before even the internet, it was just, you picked up a newspaper and it was Celtic are linked to this one. See 2 or 3 days later, they were standing there with a pod and a scarf. Do you know what I mean? It was done, and then the rumours and all that started coming in. And then when David Murray came into the Huns, it all went mental with all their mad, crazy transfer stories getting planted in the press and all that. And that's where that all stems from in Scotland, all that bullshit that we need to listen to now. And then Sky Sports came in, which is just a fucking racket for betting. Do you know what I mean? That's just a cover up for Sky Sports betting stuff. And people just believe it because they've said it, or this guy said it on Twitter. That Fabrizio Romano, there are pages upon pages on that Reddit. He tweets that he's put out over the years, this was this, and he's deleted them because they're bullshit, and it's just all bullshit.
And then he Ken, what he's actually done? He's actually took the fun out of football for me, because Ken, what I'm not keen on, right? And obviously it's good when you hear like a newspaper come and say, oh, you're close to a player. I hate when a newspaper or like a journalist breaks the story before the club itself. Again, when a deal's agreed, I want to hear it from a team first before I hear it from a journalist. I'm old school that way. Again, you want to see the announcement on your club's webpage with a boy hugging the scarf and that. No, some journalist that's had 18 billion articles and he's got 3 rights, so he claims that he's like a football guru. You know what I mean?
Right, Mike, are you boosting? Is you away ready? The message is there to say to go away, look after the kids and that. So I think Mikey's away. You still there, John?
No, I'm still here. I was just letting JFB Hayes be half-hour blather there. Eh?
He's sermon for the week.
No, I've got to go and get the bairns done, mate. So I'll let you crack on. I'll listen in once I get the bairns settled. All right.
No bother, Mikey. Thanks for coming on again, bud. Right. Good night. Night.
Cheers, Mikey.
But these people. And don't get us wrong. See, if I was maybe younger, maybe would be more. I don't like Twitter. Do you get what I mean? I'm not that. I don't like. I will sit here and do this. No, I don't like just flinging comments. I don't like the anonymity, knowing who I'm talking to. Do you know what I mean? So I don't really interact much on Twitter. But it's a fucking cesspit anyway. But that's for the transfer window. And the shite Celtic fans just believe they go from one extreme to the other. John, right, we've agreed, right? Engels hasn't hit the heights that we expected him, right? But we know there's a decent player in there right now. Under O'Neill, he's looking better. But we've gone for the day that he was never worth 11 million we paid for him. We shouldn't sell him. I can't believe Nottingham Forest have got to give that because he's shite. The board will sell him at that money. What the board no selling him for at that money. And this is on the space of 6 hours today.
But neither of you can sit there and tell me that you aren't happy that English deadline's passed without him leaving. Come on.
Oh, aye.
100%. He's my lad, he's just texted this. He just shows you how incompetent the board are. They can't accept the best of him and replace him. He's been absolutely dumped me. I don't agree with that for half the season, but he's the best we have. He's that's English.
I think he falls into that category. If he falls into a category of one of the players, you don't know what you've got until he's gone.
100%. 100%.
Every club's got players that they're no scapegoats, but they're always ones that divide opinion, right? But more often than not, they go about their business quietly, right? And then what happens? You see when he leaves, and you think, yeah, remember he was good, and it's not just like recency bias either. You're actually looking back after a couple of years and thinking he was vastly underrated. He was never appreciated for what he actually did. You know what I mean?
As I said yesterday, I think Engels was going on to better things, and I'm just not convinced that we figured out what to do with him yet. As I said, the only question you're left with this morning, about everybody's discussing this for me, are we better off or worse off in terms of the challenge before this year? They've been playing Stuttgart in the Europa League, and in terms to overcome the deficit here to get back to the top of the league. Does Engels leaving? And you need to factor into this equation. You're on the last day, and what would be the chances of Beaker and his team getting a replacement in that was any better in the last day that made you stronger again? You go that into the equation, you can't sell them. Doesn't matter what the price is, you can't sell them unless it's 100 million, as Martin said. Martin's probably not far away with a figure. See, it was 100 million, you could have went and redeveloped into the main stand. Aye, maybe.
Called it Arne Engels stand.
Yeah, the fucking Arne Engels stand, exactly right. The Beaker stand. It's I'm not interested. We've got folks. Celtic Sports, you're saying take the 25 million and fucking do what with it.
That's what I'm saying, John.
You've got 100 million in the bank, and you.
See,
and
if it was the first day of the window, John. If it was like in the first week of the window and we get a £25 million bid in for Engels, I'd have took it. Exactly. If you know that the board, or even as I said earlier on, if you knew that Bernardo could step up to get us over the line this season, do you know what I mean? You take it, because there comes a point that you kind of need to cash in on a player. We missed it with Maeda now, do you know what I mean? But no, in the last day of the season, I wouldn't have sent sell Engels for any amount of money today, unless you just, and Martin O'Neill and you said there, it was absolutely crazy, stupid money. Because it's just too late in the day to get a replacement into that quality. And all this, we should have somebody lined up. Again, that's going back to you treating a player like a piece of meat. Right, mate? Imagine, as I said, I was saying to Mikey before he went off there, imagine your boy was a football player, John, and X team want him, Y team definitely wanted him, and Celtic maybe want you to sell Arne Engels. Who are you telling your boy to listen to that day? Are you sitting with the news saying to your boy, no, wait, the news, Engels might still go, there's still a couple of years to let you just like, get them to fuck, I'm going to that. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
again, you're getting a concrete offer, it's just stupid.
You can't spend weeks negotiating with a club and a player, Jonas, on the off chance that something happens that you can buy them, because their agents putting you in the back burner. They're away talking to every other club that are showing a hell of a lot more interesting. Or if this happens, you'll be interested in you.
Yeah, you kind of work on a hypothetical scenario that you might end up somewhere because X player might move to this club, you know what I mean? Whereas you're getting a concrete offer of guaranteed employment elsewhere. It's just daft.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a question for all the board apologists that said they didn't want to back fucking Rodgers because he wasted 11 million on Engels. Where are they tonight, eh? Where are they tonight? I'm just going with the eye test when I'm watching that yesterday, Jonas. I'm just thinking that midfield needs something added to it. No 10 out of it, eh? I think the wee Mexican bandit at right back is he's been there. I tell you, Johnson's going to need to go something to get him back out that team again when he comes back, eh? I think he's been excellent, and I think big Tam the Czech. I'll tell you, no idea about these two boys that's come in. More my concern is that the ones that the two that the boy that Neil tell you was coming in. You're saying there, Matt, right enough, he turned us down. Is that what you're thinking?
No, that's what John, just that came out or popped up on Twitter and that just before I came on air the night. So right. I don't know if that's true, but that was what was firing about that Jahedmus or whatever it is there. I tried to say it. Jonas will know his name.
Delmas, you're a decent pronunciation, but see that, just to answer what John was saying there, he was on about the other two that have come in and the boy that come up front today. It's not, he's been playing. You think he's at 27 games and he scored in the Europa League against Bologna this season. He's got a goal in the league for Freiburg. And considering that he's been limited to substitute, well, look at the big Tam as well. He'd barely kicked the ball for Mönchengladbach or his Turkish outfit, and he's coming and he's already he got an assist in his debut and he got a good goal at the week. So it just goes to show you that these boys have obviously got something about them, and they just need the right environment to go and play football, you know. Because O'Neill's probably just saying, right lads, go and enjoy yourself. He's not overloading them with tactics or any of that crap.
You look at you think folks, he was his relationship with the team wasn't happy, was getting thrown about. The fact that the other two boys have not cut the mustard. You think, see if a man can do that, you only need to think. You only need to think Hartson and Sutton to think potential people that could have been caught. And O'Neill was capable of going. And if there's anybody better getting the best out of these getting the best out of the boys. You've got them in the dugout now, eh?
Exactly.
Well, John, I put a thing up yesterday on a couple of the chats. I don't know if I put it up on yours, right? And I just took a wee screenshot of it. Nobody knew who it was, right? And it was in 2 seasons, right? The player had scored 7 goals in 2 seasons in the Premier League. Right, but he played plenty of games and that. Done that. Imagine the meltdown if he signed a player with these stats. He scored 4 goals in 1 season and then 3 the next season, and that was Sutton. Can you imagine the meltdown on social media and that back? They kind of, do you get what I mean? If he'd been out and signed Chris Sutton.
Mate, even if it's Simon Larsson.
Yeah, Larsson didn't have a great goal scoring record before he came to. Aye, that's true, I know. To be honest.
Not only that, it was a bad relationship. It was a bad. He was desperate to go out the club. I remember Larsson greeting when the deal fell through when he was leaving Feyenoord Day, and as I said, you could say Sutton and Hartson were, you know, a cracker for a meal to say to John Hartson, I'm not even giving you a medical. I'm just, unless you've got a signing you, and it's if there's somebody capable of telling these boys are world beaters, it's the man that you've got in the dugout at the moment. If there's somebody came to rescuing something for us this season, he's the man that could do it for you. Eh?
There, Bobby saying there in Vacu at Bodo. I mean, everybody's creaming their pants here, Bodo Glimt, to the last couple of seasons and that. See if we'd been signing him straight for them, everybody would be going after, oh, that's a great signing. But again, the guy's just had a bad move, which happens to every player now and again. No, probably every player's had a bad move at one point in their career.
I was going to say, when do you go through someone's career and every single place they've went has worked perfectly? Very rarely happens, eh?
Aye. Back for Roy Keane.
Aye, you know what I mean? There's anomalies, but very often.
Aye, but I mean, even you get back, even going back to the guys that go to like super teams, like how many big players have went to Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG and fell flat in their arse.
And they've given me a good reputation before they went there, eh?
Some of the top players in the world and in Europe at the time have went to clubs and it's just no worked out for them.
Correct.
I mean, it's the thing about it, and we can all look back and you see what players have done and hang we right. All I actually care is how they do in a Celtic strip. Because players have came to Celtic that I thought were going to fall flat in their face and have done amazing. And there's players that have came I thought were going to tear it up and they've fell flat in their arse. It's just, as we're saying there, we've got one of the best managers that's, well, when you put it down to stuff like that, apart from Jokestein, you've got to say that Martin O'Neill's probably up there. It's probably, with the man management skills, he's up there with some of the best in the game across the board.
Absolutely.
Not just at Celtic, even at Leicester. Do you know what I mean? What he done at Leicester and stuff like that. It's just.
You think? I think a lot of people forget. Not only did what he achieved in management, but he's what he achieved as a football player. Eh? He played in a World Cup. He was the first Roman Catholic to captain the North Ireland. He was
two European Cups, was it, for us, one or three?
Two European Cup finals as well. Eh? He's so nobody needs to tell Martin O'Neill what a fucking winger looks like. And Jonas is bang on. This is no fucking complicated. Eh? Defenders defend, midfielders get the ball to the wingers. You get to the byline, cut the ball back to the strikers. Let's say we need to wait to see what the next manager systems he plays before we buy a striker. Fucking behave yourself. Go and buy a big one and a wee one. Eh? It's worked for 100 years. It's you know, I've not seen much wrong with Big Tan the Czech. I'm interested to see what else comes in behind him. Eh? O'Neill's strategy doesn't look as if it's changed much in 25 years.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, like you says there, John, right? His strategy's no change because you look at the results since he's come in, right? We'll take just the sample size since he's been back at you boys, right? So he's took a European campaign that was going off a cliff, right? He's got progress in that.
Yep.
He's undefeated domestically, right? Tightened up the defence. And look at the way he plays football. I remember when he first come in and they asked him about Sriracha, he only just met, and he says, I just told him, go and play football, son. Come on, I mean, it's no hard, eh? And he's another good player as well, actually. If he can get his injuries sorted, then he's just been unfortunate. From what I've seen of him, he's always looked good enough. He's just been unlucky with the old hammy, but if he can get his hamstring sorted, then he looks like a decent enough player. Because Tierney's not going to be able to manage every game, so if you can get that Sriracha fit, then he looks decent.
I think when you see Sriracha, one, he's got a bit of dig about him. He's got that mad fucking South American a bit. Sometimes he worries me because he's a red card waiting to happen. The same as
Araujo.
Araujo, the same there. He's that kind of wee bad tackle he had in the first game. Mind, I thought.
I just thought he was unlucky with that, John. It was a nasty tackle, but I don't think there was any kind of real malice in it. I think it was just a bit. It was just maybe a wee bit too pumped up kind of thing. Aye.
What tackle was that?
That Araujo one in.
Rush from the red, mine.
Oh, was that the one against us when he's over the top with the ball on Ferry and he dived in and he gets a booking, but then he was touch or go for us.
Aye.
Was that against United? Aye. Yeah, because I was. Aye, that one. Yeah, like see that tackle, right? What amazes me about that, right, is I think that the ruling was probably correct, but what the problem is, we had a man sent off against Hearts at the weekend there, right, for less contact than that. And then Rangers did the same yesterday, and it wasn't even a booking. So that tackle's happened 3 times in the space of a month, and it's been officiated differently every single time. So that's what I've got a problem with. It's not the tackle itself; it's the fact that there's no consistency in how it gets refereed.
I think what Mark's saying there is right enough. I don't think there was any malice in it. I don't know how much he'd played before that, but you'd be taking him aside in the morning. You're saying never. You know that's the thing I admired about Falkirk yesterday as well. There was no hammer throwers there trying to fucking make a name for themselves by taking they'd be fucking ending a Celtic player's a career, aka Alaba, when you're Japanese boy. You know, they came to play. They came to play fit, but you know, so I'm not sure there was a lot of malice in that.
No, he's not meant to do the ball. He's definitely meant to try and win the ball.
So you'd be taking him aside in the morning, you'd be saying to him, listen, see that dig? We're needing a fucking bit of that. Don't lose it, but don't endanger an opponent.
Yeah, you're just like, come on, you just tell him, look, you've probably got a wee bit excited there, the adrenaline's going. Right. You're playing for the first time in maybe a wee while, because obviously, because he was in the MLS, their season had finished, so he hadn't played. So he's wanting to get in, and because everybody's the same, whether you go to a new job or it's a new football team, you've got that, like, right, I want to show what I've got here. And especially young boys, because you're still a laddie, boys can get carried away a wee bit. And like you said, Martin O'Neill's probably took him to the side and said, look, son, that tackle will get you a red card, so just calm it down a wee bit, but then I go into your shell, but then I just can't it, you know what I mean?
I can't even mind what Neil's comment was when he was interviewed, but you could tell that was a conversation that was going to follow that tackle. He wasn't too impressed with it.
I think he said he did well, but he says we're going to have a word with him just to sort of temper his enthusiasm. It was comments along the lines, which encoded means you're going to get your balls booted in training when we've reviewed the footage, but he's not going to throw the boy under the bus in front of the cameras, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But another foot again, John, we've sort of said that we're lacking a bit of fucking steel and dig in the team. Do you know what I mean? So it was a bit rough and ready, but sometimes maybe not against Dundee United, but seen it like the heat of a derby battle or that.
100%. See,
taking a yellow card for it. Aye, do you know what I mean?
See the first game against them. I'm saying, mind that attack at Dundee United. Don't fucking do it again, eh? And do it in the first minute, because you're not going to get booked for it, eh?
It depends on who they've delegated as the referee in the VAR, though, because it depends on who that is, because you've not seen past the realms of possibility that they could send someone off after a minute.
I know.
See, Joe, that's what you're good on here, but see, because you're a Dundee United fan, and you going about stuff with VAR, and I mean, and I've said this before, we moan about VAR, right? You're a Dundee United fan, you moan about VAR. The Huns moan about VAR. Hearts moan about VAR. So why can you not all get together and sort it out? Rather than
So there's back to the other red card then. Was it a red card?
put one.
Trustees.
No, because you got away for a goal. Now the referee's made the right decision. He's gave a yellow card, right? Because the boy's gonna be near at the corner flag by the time he catches up with the ball. And then see if everybody talks about scales, right? But see if you look at Dane Murray on the other side, Dane Murray's running diagonally. So by the time the boy gets on the ball, Dane Murray's going to be at about the penalty spot. So how's that like? So Beaton's decided that I'm going to go and re-ref this. The exact same thing happened against us on Saturday night. The boy Fatah took a bad touch, tries to redeem it. He stands on the boy's foot, but his heel's planted. The referee gives a booking, right? Hearts players aren't even appealing for it. Next thing he's getting sent to the monitor. I just said that to my mate. I said, see if this goes down to 10 men, we'd be as well going him now, because that's the game up the pole. So it was shaping up to be a good game of football, and it's been spoilt by an incompetent twat and VAR that's never played football and he's puff. How many times have you boys have played five-a-sides of football in it? Many times you stand on someone's foot accidentally if you get to the bar a second late. That's never a red card. You know what I mean? And neither was Trustees because the boy's not going through on goal.
See, to be honest, see when it went. My first question is why does your man intervene? Why does VAR intervene when wasn't a clear and obvious error? And I can't see who it was. The referee's got a clear view. There's nothing obstructing him. I actually didn't think there was that much contact.
Yeah, so you could argue whether even a foul in the first place.
100%. You could even argue who initiated the contact. And you're watching, you're thinking, if I'd have been nearer that VAR was going to rescind the yellow card rather than raise it to a red. So was it a clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity? No, I don't think it is. No. I know the last man term's away now, isn't it? That's no longer in the rules. But is that clear? You've got two central defenders. You've got one tailing them. You've got two coming into the box. You've got a goalkeeper. He's heading away towards the corner flag. Somebody was talking about. I heard Alan Morrison talk. Alan does all the XG stuff, the data analysis stuff. So he was talking about the XG that being something like 0.8, which means your chances of your man scoring for there would be
under 1%.
He said it would be something between 8% and 14%.
Right.
And yet you get a man red carded for that.
How does he know that?
That's just the data analysis model that throws that up. What would the XG be expected in that situation? The expected goal getting scored for that situation. It's like he made a good point. Like penalties.
Well, I'm not slagging Alan off. No, I mean it's interesting to me in that. But again, John, how did he know that? That's what I mean. It's like all that HD stuff and all this, and you're like, how can they know that?
Yeah, see again, there's sort of like, again, I'm not criticising boys that are into stats, and I know that
it's interesting, but a lot of it's a bit whoa, innit?
I think a lot of it's based on, too much of it's based on what ifs and buts and like maybe, you know what I mean? There's not enough of it based on code. So, for example, right, if someone's got an open goal, right, and the XG's like 99% and the boy balloons it over the bar, right, that's different because we can that there's probably a 0.1% chance of that happening. But when they talk about a guy shoots for 35 yards and it goes in the top corner like that, the XG of that was only 1.2%. And you're just like, come on, eh?
It's like we were talking about the new with Trusty getting sent off, right? What about that kind of? We've all seen mad goals getting scored over the years. That's why we love football. Do you know what I mean? What if that boy had ran like the wind, got the ball, hurt it, and chipped Casper Schmeichel for there and then? What would have been the XG? Do you know what I mean? What would have been the XG on that or that kind of part?
But it's just as easy as him not getting to the bar. The two defenders coming, and if he gets to the bar, he balloons it over the bar. Well, but look at it. Look at the one in the first half when the boy Kazridis goes through 1-on-1 when Brusty fluffs that back pass and he's through 1-on-1. The XG was probably more in the striker's favour than it was the goalkeeper's to save it. You know what I mean?
I'll ask you a question. See if they're playing the Huns. Does that get raised to a red card?
No, I don't think it does.
Fucking no chance it does.
Well, or I'll put this to you, right? See if that's a Celtic player. So see if it's Big Tam going through on the other end, and that happens. Is that getting upgraded to a red card at Tynecastle? Be that,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean?
Absolutely not. It's I just couldn't see. I couldn't see how it was a clear and obvious error that allowed VAR to intervene in the first place. I think Anil's right. He's re-refereeing the game. I can't see how it's with the cover that was coming back. I can't see how it was a clear and obvious error. And I've watched it a few times. Even the first time I seen it, I wasn't sure even how much contact there was or who initiated the contact.
Did they release the odd?
No, you know yet. No.
See, do you know what I mean? That would be interesting.
Well, it's like you say, there's far too many hypotheticals in that scenario. And see, I was listening to another podcast last week, right, and they were speaking about it, and then the boy was on about, because there's that many grievances with VAR, that how do they not bring in a challenge system where each team gets 2 challenges a game or something, so they could see. But then you're like that. It's just becoming too. Then it delays the game even further. You know what I mean?
They can put an advert on at that point.
I know, and then it becomes like American football. You know what I mean? So I'm just thinking, see in Scotland, the problem look at this, like, here's one last season. Remember the goal that he's got disallowed against Hibs when they claimed that the ball was out of play, but they didn't have a camera angle on the line.
That's right.
So they just made that up, right? So unless I'm in favour of binning the whole system here until we can afford to pay for the system that they have in the major leagues.
The top tier level, aye. We've kind of got VAR after Temu into or Sheet or something like that.
What was the goal? I mean, I don't know the technical ins and outs. If I talk about the camera speed and between stills as well. You remember the one? Who was the one that made her get one? He was ruled offside. Who was that against?
Is that no Jota Motherwell?
No, recently. Maida, this season. There was
somebody in the chat will know that, Joe.
Oh, was it no against Rangers when, like, his back ankle or something was like was it no like they said that the Rangers defender's toe or something played him offside? Yeah. Was it no against them?
There was fucking ball hairs in that. There's absolutely no chance is that technology that far advanced that somebody can definitively say that that's offside. And for me, if there's any doubt, the favour should go with the attacker, right?
Aye, it should, John. That's what I was just going to say. See, even at that, I mean, it's even way VAR when it comes to the offside thing. I would, my rule would be, if I was staring straight at that with a straight line, could I tell that with the naked eye? Without video, do you know what I mean? Even looking at the video and seeing what they're seeing and I'm pausing it, just say, even if I was staring right down there at a straight line, would I have noticed his toe was off line at that minute that they passed the ball? And see if you can, it shouldn't. Because that, again, it's a shifting, you're shifting for like real people running the game to computers and stuff like that. I mean, how many offside goals are the years when there was no VAR? Getting back to how many of them stood? I mean, go back to Scottish Cup final when Roy Yeaton stole the throw in. What would have happened if VAR had been about then? Imagine the kick up. Can you mind of that, Jonas? No.
What was that? Sorry.
Was that 1989? Roy Yeaton, it was a Rangers throw in. Roy Yeaton just grabbed the ball and took the throw in. Celtic went up the park and scored.
Oh, I did that, right? Mate. It's funny enough, I've never actually even heard of that, mate. So, no.
1989 Cup final, we beat Rangers 1-0. Joe Miller scored, Have a look it up once you get off. Honestly, Roy, it was a Rangers throw. Roy Yeaton grabbed it and just threw it and to just let the game go and so we took, you know what I mean? But and now it's all computers and VAR and everything, and it sucks the life out the game because you're scoring a goal and the players are celebrating and the fans are celebrating and then 2 minutes, we need to wait. And it takes the fun out of the game because every goal now you're waiting to see what VAR's going to decide on it. But mate, I don't know what it's like with you, Jonas, but every Celtic goal is fucking scrutinised to a million% on the telly or that, you know what I mean?
We're the same as well, like, and tell you what, one of the seasons that I enjoyed the most was 3 seasons ago when we were in the Championship. Not because we were in the Championship, because of the disgrace that a club our size was doing there, right? But see the freedom of just being able to celebrate a goal as it went in, knowing that the referee's like whistle once the goal was given, there was no consultation with VAR or like the offside or anything. A goal went in, you could say, and like, don't get us wrong, see that season, we got away with a couple where boys were offside and that, but because you're going with human error. But you were always used to that. But see now, you score a goal and then you're trying to rack your brain halfway through celebrating, thinking, right, where did the pass originate? Was there a foul in the build-up? Was it one that could be tight for all? It was like we were at Ibrox earlier this season, right, and we got the equaliser, the 2-2 draw. And obviously you're upside down and getting flung about the stand, and then the next thing it comes up like VAR checking possible offside, and you're thinking, I've just made a howling arse of myself here, went and gave it big licks to the Huns and whatever for this to traipse back to your seat with your tail between your legs when it gets disallowed. Thankfully the goal stood, but you know what I mean, you all of a sudden get that fear, come on in, and especially when you're through there, because they'll try anything to claw it off if it's against them, like.
I'd scrap it. I would scrap Vardy. You know, what makes life interesting is the mistakes you make. You know, they've took the spontaneity out of the game. You see, if a ref gets it wrong, he gets it wrong. But for me, what happened there with your man pulling that back? What's his name?
Beaten.
Aye, brother Beaten. Pulling that back, intervening when there's no clear and obvious error, and still coming up with an answer that's debatable. To me, that's you know, I would scrap it. You're right. It's took you know, a goal scored and you're fucking trying to think all the way back there, all the previous phases of play. It's bollocks to me.
Oh, it is.
I'd rather just go back and live with the fucking mistakes.
Yeah, because and the thing is, Kim, what it was because managers put that much pressure on, like you know, referees over the years saying, "Oh, we need a system." So you reap what you sow, because when people moaned like fuck for years about, "Oh, the referees are making too many mistakes and we need a system to come in." But the problem is that the system that the problem we've got in this country as well is our referees are part-time. You know what I mean? So they're going to be. So the boy that gave that sending off against us on Saturday night is a copper, right? So he's back at his local police station, not giving a fuck about what happened to United, and that could cost people jobs, European qualification, top six. It could have ramifications on next season's transfer budgets and everything. All because he couldn't be asked to look at a decision again and make up his own mind. You know what I mean? And it's the same for you boys. You could lose a cup. You could lose the league, Champions League finances.
That ball that was meant to cross the line had an adverse effect in Dundee United as well. At that time as well. Mind the Hibs game.
Yeah, because that ended up putting Hibs above us, because we were above Hibs in third at the time,
That's right. The same with that. It's the fact you've introduced the technology, but you've got the same bastards in charge that are deciding when they go to that technology. If Brother Beaton's at Ibrox and that's the same, he's no calling that out as a clear and obvious error. You know. Back to this whole thing, I had to go into, it's a lot of piss as well, go into unconscious bias. One of the companies I work for, I had to go into unconscious bias training, right?
Mm-hmm. So, but we did before you go and John, that's what I was going to say. We would be unconsciously biased.
I disagree. I would be fucking consciously biased.
I know.
I couldn't referee a Huns game because I wouldn't be fucking know the desert.
No. But even John, it's like, right, even there, Jonas, at Dundee United, right, this is one thing we've spoken about it before, all this, the Lanarkshire Mafia and all this, with Hugh Dallas, the clique, right? There's got to be referees a certain standard for your neck of the woods, Jonas, up Aberdeen, out Stirling way, anywhere. They aren't really, they don't support Celtic, you don't support Rangers, but then you get down to the crux, but what's their big team? What school did they go to? Do you know what I mean? So it's like...
It's a lot of garbage, yeah. What they need to do? They do that in England. They make the referees declare what club they support. And then
where they stay, they're not even allowed to referee games in their kind of local postcodes and all that, or nothing because of stuff like that.
Well, it's simple. See in here, right? See if you've got an AB postcode, right? You can't referee Aberdeen. If you've got a G postcode, you can't referee Celtic or Rangers. If you've got an ML postcode, you can't referee Motherwell. You've got a DD postcode, you can't referee United or Dundee. It's no hard. You know what I mean?
think Jonas worked for the post office at some point in life here. We all know the postcodes. I know my aim, and that's it.
Mate, I work in a trade merchant, so see when you get someone up from Edinburgh and their name's John Smith Painter, you're like, geez, your postcode, mate, because there's about 1 billion John Smiths, you know what I mean?
So, well, the point I'm trying to make,
but you know what I'm saying, though, that's the point I'm trying to make, is you can make it fairer that way.
Yeah, but that's the point I make. So every section of industry recognise that there is such thing as unconscious bias, you know, and worse than that, as I said, I would be even worse than that, because I as I say, I would need. I know I couldn't referee a Rangers game fairly.
You still there, eh?
So I would even try. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Aye.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened there. Like, my phone just fucking had a pure freak out there and froze on us, so I thought I'd been booted out.
You back on? Aye, you hear?
Aye, we can hear you, John.
Right, so in terms of that, yeah, the one section, the one workplace that doesn't seem that denies that there's such a thing.
My phone fucking had a meltdown there.
Is that there's such a thing as unconscious bias as Scottish refereeing, eh? So you've got a Freemason with Rangers allegiances, calling that a clear and obvious error and raising it to a red card, and there's nothing you can say about it.
Is it beating that's got his school yearbook picture kicking about on social media, and he's saying in that he's a massive Rangers fan in that? Is that beating?
Aye,
there's one of the refs in that, but again, Scotland, I don't even know what's the population of Scotland, about 5 million people, right?
Yeah, about 5.2 or something.
There's got to be referees for about the country that have not really got any kind of preference or the one way or another, and even got to be younger guys that maybe fancy being referees that are willing to just put that aside for even professional. Do you get what I mean? It's a point, right? It's like, so right, I wouldn't be able to referee an Aki's game, if you get what I mean. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got what you're talking about there, John, that thing in your head. But it wouldn't bother me going and refereeing a Motherwell Kilmarnock game. I hate the two of them as much. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, you've got any unconscious leaning towards either of them.
No, I hate the two of them as much as each other. Things, things like that, and it's just they've got to get Scottish refereeing system is one of the poorest in Europe, for what I've read up on over the years, for this kind of cliquey wee mentality. I mean, every other country tries to root these kind of problems out. We just kind of seem to kind of sweep it under the carpet and know what to talk about it.
The problem we've got here as well, right, is we've got that stupid VAR, like KMI panel, right, and they release it once a month, right, and they go through it, and you've got columns sitting there going like, oh, this was wrong. But see what the problem is? They double down. They didn't call out their own for marking. There's no accountability with the referees. It should be like, see the boy that made that, like, see the boy beaten, right, after obviously that trust thing. He should have been saying, right, you're not getting a game. You're in the championship for the next 3 weeks. You know what I mean? There should be consequences to their actions. Eh?
Aye. We've said that for years on here, on this podcast, that there's got to be some kind of backlash, I don't mean that, but some kind
consequence
of
for your actions.
Aye, and you say there, but the kind of just, what is it, don't back down, double down.
Correct.
And they're no, instead of trying to, and I mean, the thing as well, it's a bit of a kind of Scottish football psychological thing. Everybody's on the defensive of everything. Across the board in Scottish football, even up at the SPFL and the SFA boards and that, Jonas, you know what I mean? There's nothing.
People like tribalism.
There's nobody trying to improve Scottish football. There's nobody in Scottish football that now trying to improve the overall game.
See, the one thing I do agree with is, like, and we've seen it with several. Celtic, there was a banner at Parkhead yesterday. There was a United Ultras section on Saturday night. There was, I think it was Falkirk, Hibs, Hearts. everybody and the government have started to get a wee bit emotional by capping away tickets at £25 for every
Aye.
ground. That and the one thing that all the fans have done, regardless of tribalism, is managed to all the clubs, ultra sections have signed the petition. Because and then see if the government were to bring that out as a law, then that's perfect, because then it improves the game. And I seen a thing in the papers last week on the news that the Scottish football brings £900 million to the Scottish economy every year. So the fans should be getting treated, you know what I mean, instead of getting treated like cattle. You know what I mean?
Aye. And see, even no, even just that. I know you want to say. And here's one I don't know how you would feel about it with Dundee United or that, and across the board. But it's like, right, see if they cap the away tickets and stuff, they've got to come up with. See, like when Celtic go to fucking anywhere and we're all cramped in one wee corner or one stand, and the rest of the stadium's not even a quarter full. There's got to be, for me, there's got to be a kind of ticketing system in Scotland that maximum, not just allow like cheap, like fair ticket prices, but allow just. I mean, other wee clubs do it, but some of them are just stubborn about it. But you as Dundee United, would you know rather that Dundee United's ground was full every week, whether it's we use or whether it's we using away fans or no matter what, but you want it to be bouncing.
Well, like what when you come to us, to be fair, I think we give you the shed and we give you one half of the ground, so we get about 4,500 at Tannadice, which is a good away allocation. Okay, I think Hearts had 3,000 or something, so we give away teams a generous allocation. You know what I mean? So I think the crowd was about 11,500 on Saturday or something, and it encourages people to go to the game. But it's teams like, what annoys me, it's teams that have cut their now Falkirk's different because they've got a wee stadium with 3 stands, right, and they've cut it this season because they fill it with their, but it's when you go to Hearts and places like Hibs and everything, you see loads of empty seats in the home ends, and you're like, and you've got boys that go every week struggling to get a ticket. You know what I mean?
I mean, the thing with the ticket pricing, definitely something that needs to be looked at. The away day fans' experience is definitely something across the board that needs to be looked at. And as I said, but there's nobody leading Scottish football now. There's nobody planning, no forward thinking, we just sit there and get fucking no Vaseline with Sky every year for pennies. Do you know what I mean? And think, this is the best it can be, and it's not the best it can be. There's got to be better than that. There's got to be.
Nah, definitely. There's definitely a lot that can be done, eh?
On that note, then, just a slight aside for that, then, the Celtic board can't even give you 100% allocation for season ticket holders. What about the ongoing ban? We can let the Union Bears in for the Rangers game, and we can listen to Big Jock Mew and the famine's over and every form of fucking obscenity under the planet. Yet we can't let the Green Brigade in. What's happening? Who shouts that?
That's down to Beaker, isn't it? That's Beaker and his wee copper pal.
No, I think it's the mustachioed one. Irrespective of what you think of the Green Brigade, just that blanket ban on them as well. The atmosphere was dire yesterday. Eh? Do you think under the similar we're needing all hands to the pump here? For the management, to the players, to the supporters, they need to be let back into the stadium again. That banner yesterday, I thought was spot on. You know, end the bans. That's got nothing at all to do with anything that happened here. That's stop calling us out. Stop singing "sack the fucking board." Or the Celtic board, they have to go and stop showing pictures of us and my laddie with a big fucking red line through our face. I think what you're watching this Wendy is incompetence meets a wee bit of spite, a wee bit of Desmond's spite as well. And somehow we need to get past this. The Green Brigade need to get back in again. And no everything the Green Brigade is I love, but you need to get them back in that stadium.
Did that cut? Sorry, did that cut off there? I think I clicked a button there and stopped that, but I think that's it back now. So just, John, it's so petty. It really is.
Come with Brian Wilson, he's meant to be the man that's looking for a unity. Eh? No seen much evidence yet.
I mean, everybody goes on about it, right? But the Green Brigade are just a crowd of young guys.
Absolutely.
And Fitbus changed even John for like Matt. I mean, not saying you're an old guy in that, you know what I mean? But Fitbus changed for like when you were young to I was young to even what this generation we get through as Celtic supporters. Do you know what I mean? And just the ultras thing, the Green Brigade, it's just what young guys are into at the time. And it's petty and it's personal.
Back to the same thing as I said about Engels. Only question I had in my mind this morning was, does selling Engels improve or decrease your chances of winning this league? And there's only one answer to that. I don't care how much we've got in the bank. I only want to see the best Celtic team I can see on the park. And the same with the Green Brigade. Does the Green Brigade been in or out increase or improve or reduce your chances of winning this league? And I think even Bawz showed mine last season or the season before, the points dropped when the Green Brigade was banned. I'm not saying there's a direct correlation, but the atmosphere was fucking dire last. And as I said, they need to go away and reflect as well. Is that I wouldn't like to throw a stick at it, but when they sang the Celtic board, they have to go, and that's you winning as well when you're singing it. The amount of people that was pointing at them for their own main stand was considerable. And right round about the stadium, and the Green Brigade's not even there. I don't know what the attendance was yesterday out there.
There was a lot of empty seats, John. Hold on 2 seconds, John. There's Jonas going to be. AirPods are failing him. Thanks very much for coming on, Jonas, mate. Right, I'll give you a wee message later on, bud. Right, good night. Good night.
Cheers, Jonas.
John, it's a riot. What's that? 19 games I've missed now, the Green Brigade.
Yep, there wasn't as many empty seats as I thought there would have been. I mean, I've got a pal say to me that I'll know.
It looked a lot on the telly, John.
No, honestly, I looked around about a good few times. Apart, there was nothing. I don't know. It's hard to gauge, but because it's a big stadium, so you're looking at the empty seats and thinking, what does that mean? But I don't think it would be more than 10 out of 60. I reckon there'll still be 50,000 there plus. And out of that, and I'm just guessing. This is just me throwing a stick at it. I reckon fucking 70-80% of them stood up and said the Celtic board have got to go away. So it's there wasn't as for a Sunday kick-off at 3 o'clock under the current situation. There wasn't as many. I said that to my laddie this morning. There wasn't as many empty seats because he didn't go away. He said,
was he still in the ban? Is he still?
I know he's
self-imposed ban. I thought people like John's boy's a maniac.
But I go to. I
can't even see anywhere where it's mentioning the attendance yesterday, John.
Was that?
I'm trying to look up here where the attendance was yesterday. I can't see anywhere that's listing it.
I was getting abuse. I was getting abuse at fucking Chapel yesterday. We've got a wee chat group, and my laddie's on it with a pal of mine, and they're saying your dad's quiet, and my laddie's saying, you're a bit mass. That's how he's no answering, and he says, will he be going in? He says, he'll be going in with all the other fucking happy clappers, eh? So he's actually said it. What was the comment? It was a cracker. It was I'm not going back to Desmond sells up or dies. I thought, well, the only problem with that is that I'll be fucking dead before that.
I think Dermot Den's got a few year news, you know.
Aye, but he's fucking runt of a boy still kicking about. He's and I thought, see get in yesterday. One, I enjoyed the game, eh? So we're part of the not another fucking penny campaign. In fact, I was talking to B-Boy in Cobridge yesterday. He says, CVC Michael Nicholson tomorrow. Tell him that when we started the not another fucking penny campaign, we didn't even know if they fucking join in. Right? He says important to join in and no spend another fucking penny. And
Is that what's going on here? Is this guy feel the medical, or is it just gossip or what?
there's 2 people that said that.
There's a few. See, I can't flick about Twitter and that when I'm doing this. I'm relying on you, so I don't be feed this false information.
Failed, there's a man saying it again.
That's just so Celtic, isn't it? It's just so fucking Celtic, man.
Is he the winger or the striker?
Oh, he's a striker.
There you go.
No, he's a winger. No, he's a winger. He's a winger, isn't he? Aye, he's a winger.
Aye, that's my mate just texted. He says he Lucas failed the medical. Says it all.
Did we not try this? Did we not try this one way? Who was that? Who did we do this with the other week? You said he missed. He failed the medical net, turned out he hadn't. And then he had, I mind. His agent came out and says, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with his ankle, but he might need an operation on it."
Aye, that's the one he went. Somebody else signed him.
Aye.
Mm-hmm. That was a heart issue. Fuck off, man. Tabby, aye, Bobby, you're right.
Aye. And you couldn't write this, couldn't you? No, Peter Kay couldn't write this.
Could Martin repeat history here when he says? But I tell you, that's a terrible how you said, mate. He said, apparently that's what he said to Hearts. He says, "I'm not even going to give you a medical." He says, "Unless you've got a hole in the heart, I'm signing you." Mean he failed the Huns medical, eh? He's deal not off, but player failed medical.
Oh, they're big camps in. Nothing official, mate.
Look, it could be fucking mere hand push. Who knows?
That's the thing, John. There's all these guys. I mean, sitting there, their phones must be going 20 a dozen if they're getting kept up to date with every single minute of every transfer that's going on in the world. Big TB's charging in. He's calling out Campsey. It's official. Bobby's saying it's Grew. It's official. It's Grew legs. There we go. But we're not signing him if he grew legs. We've not got away with that.
No.
It's the corner boy. Nice to see you in, mate. Just noticed you there. Sorry if you were in earlier on. That there, Campsey's back down. Shot it. It's official. TB correct. That's unbelievable.
What a brasser, eh? There you go.
Who are we blaming that on? Go, John. Who are you blaming that on?
Well, if you try to do your business in the last day of the Monday and you get bad news, you can't do nothing about it. If you try to do your business in day one of the Monday, the striker should have been in the 1st of January for the Huns game and then for the Hearts game, eh? They've been asking Barton we Huns tied into his back, but if he goes and if you do your business in the last day of the Monday and that's your decision, that's your conscious decision. The Huns have done business, Hearts have done business. They had 2 injuries and they replaced them in 3 days. Your decision, our strategic decision by our greater and a good was to do it on the fucking last day.
The Huns drew. Oh, the Huns done their business early. They drew the other day. So it didn't fucking work out well for them either, did it?
They're still trying to do their business, eh? The striker, big Tam should have been in for any of the boys that you're trying to sign now there. None of them that are that high up the pecking order that they could have been in for the 1st of January. Every one of them could have been signed.
John, I don't think. Honestly, I don't think any of the players that we're signing now are even close to signing. Talk to you that. I don't think these are players that we're looking at the beginning of the month.
I think you're right. That's what
I think, and I'll tell you, I think we've even went back further, and we've looked at players that were even scouting under Mark Lowell and looked at how they're going for then, or going for here then, because I just think when the Tisdale Nancy project went boobs up, bits up, whatever you want to say, I think it get ripped up. The players who were getting linked to, it was Martin O'Neill that was saying, Martin O'Neill Maloney were saying, no, they're not up to scratch.
Cameron Shannon's bang on away and say the boy from Motherwell now. That's a crack. Go and talk to Motherwell. He said he's not for sale. Everybody's for sale. You go and offer Motherwell fucking 10 million, right? They'll take it. It's go and get him. You're fucked up. Go and spend it, because I don't give a fuck what you've got in the bank. I just want to see the best Celtic team that gives me the best chance of competing in Europe and winning this league as possible. That's just a fucking howler. So, whose fault is it? The same people makes the decision to do their business in the fucking 2nd of January, Mark.
But that's what I'm saying. This month, for fucking February now, but last month, I think for the Tisdale Nancy thing went Pete Tong, John, I think we just cleared the board. It was just Martin O'Neill Maloney just said, no, what they were scouting wasn't good enough. And we've came to Martin O'Neill Maloney and the boy Jimmy Bell
But I tell you something.
For Chelsea, we're dreaming, we're scraping about, and people say, oh, we're scrimping and scraping, and agents are phoning up to offer players, but that's how transfer windows work. People know that Celtic are looking for players, so they're phoning up and saying, do you fancy him, do you fancy that?
You don't need that analysis to have went and signed fucking Bowie, Mulligan, and the boy Watson at Kilmarnock, and the boy at Wisher that I can't see his name. He's and he was good at it when he was here the first time. He took a gap for Hampstead, didn't he? At that time. You don't need fucking data analysis to go that. You're sitting here on the 2nd of January. If you go to the wire, you take what comes with it. So easy. They're just useless cunts. That's a fucking bottom line. That's absolute useless cunts. And he can't fucking survive that. And the fucker you've got that's calling all the shots with 34.7% of shares, and the bastard these boys as well. Oh, they all need to be held to fucking account, eh? Sorry for that. I done well all night. I was trying to keep a fucking lid on it. I fucking detest them with a passion.
Forget that, we know, John. But
I don't stand. If there's anybody listening to control the singing, hate is a word I don't have in my vocabulary. So I struggled to stand up, although I did, to stand up if you hate the board, right? I prefer the other version. I prefer the Celtic board they have to go, because hate's a word I'm just not terribly comfortable with, but they're horrible cunts. They hate you, and I hate them every bit as much as they fucking hate me, eh? The ideal, I said to you before, their ideal fucking season was COVID, eh? Keep your money, sit down, you're not even fucking here, we don't need to look at you. That was their fucking ideal scenario. 800 grand a year, he couldn't earn fucking 80. And the boy across the water is calling the shots. If we've got to phone him above 3 million or whatever the crack is, it needs a dress. It needs a defence why a major shareholder is not even a majority shareholder. Appears to have de facto fucking control, eh? Scunner, absolutely scunner for him.
Well, on that, before we finish up, I've got a collective one of the Zoom meetings. The more a night with the collective.
You need to start thinking now. What's that going to look like? Is it like a? Is it we were discussing it after the game yesterday. You're not going to get guys not to take season ticket, but could you organise a total boycott on European tickets, whether that's Stuttgart or whatever? Could you organise that? Could you even get 30 out of 60,000 to say no, I'm not coming out? So
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
It's
and that, I mean, that's the thing, John. It's just there's so much like fucking, and things have popped up on social media and all this, and again, in my opinion, there's stuff popped up, and it's sort of like split and divide the Celtic support. I'm not going to mention names. I'm not going to. I know that it's no. We're no type. You know what I mean? We're not here going to argue with our podcasters or anybody, Celtic fan media or anything like that. But there's stuff coming out now, and it's all becoming a bit cliquey, and people are maybe, oh, what's he doing this for? What's he saying this for? And again, the collective for me is just normal guys like me. They're big fancy bloggers and podcasters involved in it and that, but that's not why we put our name in it. We're just a wee group of Celtic fans having a blather who want to be involved in it. But they want to hear like folk for us. So if anybody has got any ideas or they want me to bring anything up in these Zoom meetings, fire a message out to me and let me know.
You need to, the only thing these guys understand is when it hits them in the pocket, but I don't know how you do it. I don't know.
John, John, come on. You're not hitting them in the pocket.
Well, you get the merch if you don't take European tickets.
But how's that hitting? But that's not hitting the club. That's not hitting them in the pocket, John.
Right. They've got you over a fucking barrel, eh? It's just it's train spotting said it's just a shitey state of affairs we're in, eh?
Aye. It really is. I mean, it is for they like not another penny in that, aye. But then that again, that's only hurting the club, right? And then we've got fucking £80 million in the bank. We don't spend it. I'd rather have £80 million in the bank and no spend it than no £80 million go the other way, if you get what I mean, John. But again, the thing with no another penny, aye, it affects the club's revenues, etc., etc. But that isn't affecting the board in their personal pocket.
No, listen.
Are the shares not sitting the highest they've ever been?
As long as see, as long as Michael Nicholson can sit in there, he would sit in there with he'd sit in there with 30,000 attending games. As long as it covers his wages, he's going fucking nowhere, eh? He's they don't give a fuck. They've got no ambition. They've got no direction. They've got no poor fucking Martin O'Neill. Yeah, he's fucking he's died between being a spokesman for them and making his demands as well. I would love to see him just fucking calling us out tomorrow, eh? And bringing it to a fucking head. They need to go. You know, the Desmond, there's no way back for his boy. His boy's a cunt. He's a cunt. His boy's a cunt. Eh? He's there's no way back for him. If this is where I was arguing with my laddie. If he Desmond fucking dies, or no place at Celtic Park for his laddie, eh? He's just his AGM fucking finished him, eh? He's I don't really know. I don't really know where we go from here. I went yesterday and had a great day out, and I went and I met all the guys I've met for 100 years, and I thought this is all the social bit. I would fucking hate them to take off of me. So I'm probably as guilty as anybody in terms of no wanting to give my season ticket away. It's you know, you can't just go in for another football club, eh? It's
Aye, John, see the thing going back to like the stadium expansion and that. Imagine they done that where like a boycott could take effect. If we were sitting there with 100,000 stadium.
Yep.
Even if, do you know what I mean? Is that again? It's just, I think. I mean, I honestly, I don't know if that's something that you. I wouldn't ask any Celtic man to stop going to a Celtic game. That's no my remit. Do you know what I mean? That's not up to me.
Right, I'm going to leave you this thought. Right, I'll leave you this thought. I need to go. I'm up there in the morning. Right, I'll leave you this thought. I said to the better half yesterday, I thought, you're Ian Bankier telling you that there's no point in spending to compete in Europe because you just can't, yeah? You had You had Tisdale telling you that you're not one of the 100, not one of the top 100 clubs in Europe. You had Ross Desmond telling you that you can't afford to swing and miss. That we've participated. Did he tell you that we'd failed to qualify 7 times out of 9? We've participated. We've participated in Europe. That's their definition of success. So the gap between their ambition, where they think they want to take you, and where you want to go, is fucking insurmountable. And I said to Eileen yesterday, see if I was going down here to Mass this morning, and I knew the Catholic Church didn't believe in heaven, or where I was trying to get to, I wouldn't fucking go. That was the analogy I came up with. I thought, I'm going in here to hear previous directors, a current fucking major shareholders, cunt of a boy who seems to be calling the shots, telling me this is as good as it gets. Your only vacation in life is to be fucking anti-establishment, sit down, shut the fuck up, and Peter will tell me to behave. That's the level of their ambition. And that's what needs addressed. See all the rest of this? It's just a fucking sideshow. And we need to get to. I don't know how you address. You can get rid of Beaker and he's Chris Mackay, the photo taker. The main issue for me is the man who has de facto control and no fucking interest in you other than total fucking contempt.
Well, because I mean, right, we can sit there and go on about Nicholson, Mackay and that, John, but I mean, everybody knows the direction and everything but the club comes through Dermot Desmond.
Absolutely.
So see if Dermot, I mean, and I've said this before, John, see if my family had ever been rich enough to put me in that position to be controlling what's going on at Celtic, I'd be wanting walking into Celtic Park and everybody in the crowd, the fucking crowd. You're big man, you're great. I fucking love you. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, well, what is there? What is their level of ambition? What is their end game? Why do they know? Why do they want Celtic to be the best they can be? Why do they not want Celtic to be in the Champions League every year? Just to make sure or even right, fair dues, maybe 2 year out of 10 will no qualify, will fail in the qualifier, even 3 year out of 10, 4 year out of 10, does it matter? The money we make qualifying makes up for the other years we don't qualify. So take a fucking risk. Where did these people want? I mean, it's like you used to look at what Abramovich done at Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? Look at what that Magna and all them done at United before the Glazers get in. Even look at what they've done across at Ibrox. They pumped money into, right? They fell into a trap that we didn't pump money in against assholes. Do you know what I mean? Stupid and like buying into slow Michael Beale and spending millions, blah blah blah. But at least they spent that. At least they backed these guys. We didn't even back the assholes like Tisdale.
So not only have you not get your striker on the line, you've fucking you've put Kenny out on loan too.
Aye.
Just a clusterfuck. There you are.
But it's the same old.
I can't believe I sat in the pub yesterday after the game and I'm saying, why are you surprised? I'm on the banter page every day and I'm seeing guys saying, we'll bring in this, we'll bring in that. For fuck me, man. And I thought, what the fuck? You know, what did I say? He's away back at the start of this window, you're getting fuck all, or next day fuck all, eh? It's the best predictor of future behaviour is past performance, or just it's actually irrelevant. I can take, as I say to you, this word entitled, I can take, you're entitled to win nothing, I'm entitled to say, right, okay, this is the deal here. I give you £1,000. My laddie gives you another £1,000. We probably spend twice as much again in fucking in your shop. And your job is to make us the best versions of ourselves that we fucking can be. And that's what I'm entitled to. And I know. And you take it above that, then you take it whole culturally, politically, socially, the gap, the disconnect between them. They fucking hate you. I used to think that was an overstatement. They hate you. And I think what you're watching here is incompetence makes fucking Desmond spite, eh?
But that's what I mean, John. What is it? Why are they like that? What other football club doesn't want to be the best that it can be? What other football club just happily? I mean, fair dues. We laugh at maybe like the so-called weird clubs, or they're happy just to stay in. Like even our Premier League, them down in England because of the money, they're happy just to survive in that league. But what's Celtic's owners' ambitions? Why are they running this at such a actual? One of the worst run clubs in Europe. They've got to be.
Desmond doesn't give a fuck, does he?
Is that what it is?
And
is he just bored?
And Beaker knows if he's going to go and get a real job, the more he's taking a 90% pay cut, eh? So they're in. You know, see the AGM. See if you were dealing with somebody. I've said this to you before a hundred times, Mark, even personally. I don't believe there's any situation there can't be a sense of contrition and a true purpose of amendment. And anybody that recognises those two terms will know what I'm talking about. When somebody makes a mistake and they come and they say to you, listen, I've fucked up here, eh? And I'm sorry, you think, yeah, that's fair dues. But see when we meet them in Gracies and they saying, we're playing a fucking blinder, eh? Desmond tells you there's fuck all wrong structurally here, eh? It was all Brendan Rodgers' fault. See when somebody's telling you there's nothing there then wrong, there's nowhere to go with that. There's just nowhere to go with this. This is just the ultimate shit show here.
It's just so stale, John.
Oh, okay, it's a fuck up, Mark. Big time. It's I don't know where it's going to take the other shareholders to say, listen, this guy's rogue, we need to rein this in. That AGM for me was just whoever decided that AGM was designed to fail you. That AGM was coming to a conclusion. That letter was written. Whoever thought things had calmed down a wee bit before then, whoever thought that Ross Desmond letter was going to do anything other than throw 2 gallons of fucking petrol on the fire, eh? It's
and they're blaming that, John, on wee Jeanette and that. Do you know what I mean? But that letter was getting read out
100%.
No matter what. Do you know what I mean?
I'm glad. Okay, my laddie went to me. I'm glad. I'm glad you didn't go because you'd have said. See when Lowell says,
behave.
sit down and behave. That might not have shoved me on the head. See when Desmond read that, you'd be saying, you wind your fucking neck in, eh? It's just I don't think I've seen a lower point in my lifetime following Celtic, and it's over half a century since I was first in Celtic Park. Since I was first in there myself, it's over half a century. I don't think I've seen a lower point than that Celtic AGM. I tell you what, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that he was no my fucking boy, eh? And I'm grateful that if I'd asked my boy to read my letter, he'd have told me to fuck off and say, see if you've got something to say, go and you fucking say it, eh?
Aye, or even fucking read it out in a video and put that up, but if they're your words, let them come out your mouth. Do you know what I mean?
Jeanette was all Jeanette did was get up mask. See the daft videos at the start here, it tells us how fucking wonderful you are. Any chance you could bin that, we can watch that online anytime. Can we get to the see if they wanted to make amends, they could have came to there and said, listen, we know we've made a howling cunt of this. We've all got Celtic's interests at heart. We all want to say, right, where do we go for here? This meeting will last as long as it needs to last. We know they come back in, they adjourn, they come back in, tell you the meeting's still finishing at at 12:30 and the cunt that's that's Desmond's Bobaggy, a boy comes in and tries to read that. Fuck off, man. There's no way back for that, Mark, for me. There's just that to me, it's played in my head since that day.
Aye, I mean, that was Ross Desmond, like.
See again?
That's just stuck. What you're saying there, John, with the Ross Desmond thing. I mean, in a fucking business sense of the world and all that, but he's still a young man. So if truth be told, and Dermot said that him and the family will never sell the shares, this is the next guy taking her. And before he's even in the hot seat himself, he's just made a complete and utter, to put it in your words, in case my mum hears this, cunt it.
Exactly.
So you can take your blame it.
I think you missed out the word howling. If you're going to quote me, don't misquote me.
Aye, but you know what I mean. It's just. He could have come out and he could have been the man to break the kind of an olive branch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, gave it. Even played the wee bit of, my dad's a bit of an old guy and that. I'm a wee bit more hip with the young ones and that. We'll try and play the game a bit. If he's just kind of businessman, play the game and try and get the younger people and get folk back on side and say, here, Dermot, start listening to your boy. But no, he just came out and just been a, my dad said this, go away. His money.
Remember a couple of seasons ago,
big boys done it and ran away.
Big boys done it and ran away, right? So remember a few years ago, they said Desmond will sell up, his boy's going to come on board, he's Celtic daft. Now you know his boy's a cunt, eh? So where are you going to go with this, eh? Anyway, it's fucking so sad. Pedro's right. The AGM is fucking stage managed, 100%. Pedro.
Aye.
100%.
And I'm not here and see him. I'm not saying it right, and I'm not saying anything against anybody. Again, do you know what I mean? But maybe did we kind of fall into the trap? Do you know what I mean? The letter was always getting read out, John, kind of thing. That it was always looking for big, but it's user all bad, we're all great. There was all I think maybe.
You should actually. Probably if you'd have said less and didn't wave the red flags, you could have said, you know what, you could have allowed them to make a total cunt of themselves without saying anything.
Aye. See next year the way you go for them, you see when they come out, just start like
silence.
Patronising them, clapping and cheering and that. Do you know what, like Trump supporters? That's what I see that. Just do that. But they can't bad mouth you if you're cheering. Whoa, you're great in that. Yeah, Dermot, we love you.
No, I think I'm a kind of. I think there's power in silence. I think if you'd have sat and said fuck all, there'd been power in it. I used to love the
same thing would still have happened, John. That's what I'm saying. That letter for Dermot his boy would still have read that. Even if the Celtic fans of the AGM and that. And John, see the thing about it, they framed it as if, the big bad Green Brigade anti-establishment. These are guys that are older than my dad was, John. These are guys that are older than you sitting there. They've won Celtic. What?
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? This isn't the Green Brigade or a dozen wee guys sitting down full of the buckets. You're dick and that. Do you know what I mean? These are guys that bought shares off of Fergus McCann in 1994 that were in that room and spoke to you like that.
Horrendous. Anyway, I'll need to go. I'm up at that. So good crack tonight. Enjoy the Tunis and Michael and that on it, and it was a good day. It was a good crack. We're and it is what it is, but
do you think we'll win the league? Do you think we'll win the league?
I know, I heard you.
Committing.
All I can tell you is I hope we win the league. I've never wanted Celtic to lose a game in my life, but And I was in yesterday and the whole atmosphere about it, but you know, they've sucked the fucking. I said to you a while ago, the very the battle for the soul of your club is ongoing, and I just don't see. Listen, see fucking Beaker, Michael Nicholson, he's fucking psychic. They'll come and go. Their time will come. How you get rid of these? In fact, see if there's anybody for the fucking Green Brigade listening. See all the banners with fucking Michael Nicholson's photo and Mackay's photo and Hargreaves' photo. Just fucking scrap it and get yourself one big banner with fucking Dermot Desmond's photo on it. If you want a wee photo, a wee second photo, put fucking Rossi's on it too, because that's where your real fucking problem lies. And it's
and I'll put you in touch with JFP if you're looking for money to make that banner. or if you want to fix that pothole just as you're walking up to the standing section.
Listen, that big
JFP will sponsor that.
That big puddle was there again yesterday. I thought, fuck me, man. Right, guys, thanks very much.
John, good night.
It's like a therapy session. Good night and God bless, lads. Thanks very much.
Good night, John. Thanks. Right, thanks very much for John coming on there. Mikey and Jonas as well. Everybody that listened, hope you enjoyed it. Didn't really have much transfer deadline news, so is that definitely Maevsku's has he failed his medical right enough? Typical. Right, as I said, thanks very much for everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back whenever. I'll try and get something sorted out for the weekend and that. So good night, hail, and God bless.